Hello and welcome to Connect and Collaborate. I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer, and I'm so excited. All week long we've had the opportunity to talk energy industry in Colorado, and with elections just around the corner, it's going to be a tough year on energy issues. But I have in studio with me Taylor Henderson. He is the chair for COSEIA, better known as the Colorado Solar Energy Industries Association, which is why you lovingly call it COSEIA.
That's right. Absolutely.
And I also have David Amster-Olszewski. He is the CEO of SunShare. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, wonderful. And on the phone we have with us Matt Cutter. He is the founder of Upslope Brewing, one of my favorite breweries in Colorado of the over 300 that we have now. So Matt, how's it going?
It's going well. Going well. It's another beautiful day in Colorado.
Yes, as always, right? It's tricky this time of year, though. We all know, right? We get the little bit of snow, then we get weeks of sunshine, and then we get a little bit of snow again. So I think we're going into that phase again. But Matt, we'll start here with you. Let's talk about your background and what made you decide to found Upslope Brewing. Again, one of my favorites. I'm hoping you'll send me free beer.
Right on. Thanks, Allie. So yeah, my background, really discovered craft beer in Colorado after moving here from Ohio, long time ago now, 25 years, something like that. And yeah, started home brewing, wanted to bring it into my kitchen, and then from there put a business plan together way back in '96, shelved it, got into high tech and project management for a number of years. And then dusted off my old plan in 2007. We wrote it for Upslope and met my partner Danny and then Henry in 2008. Kicked things off, and yeah, we have our 10-year anniversary coming up here November 3rd. So it's been a long, wild ride.
Oh, wonderful. Well, happy anniversary. And
thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will have a great celebration happening soon. But David, I'm going to ask you about your background and how you ended up at SunShare and what SunShare is all about as well.
Sure. So I was actually living in California working for a solar energy company in 2011. And Colorado had just, in the 12 months before that, passed a piece of legislation called the Community Solar Gardens Act. And the concept was to create a structure so that customers who couldn't put solar panels on the roofs of their homes or businesses or municipalities would be able to buy into solar fields that were located remotely. So we'd be able to build 20-acre solar projects and sell that energy to consumers connected through the Xcel and Colorado Springs Utilities power lines that they already have. So that's what we were interested in doing, and moved out to Colorado Springs, actually. They were able to, Colorado Springs Utilities Municipal Utility was able to start a program before Xcel's program opened, and they took the leadership to get the first program in the country going. And now 19 states have followed Colorado with legislation enabling customers to buy remote solar energy.
That's awesome. What a great concept. Yeah, because that was one of the things, especially older homes aren't required to have those solar panels. And so it can be a little bit pricey to install those, especially on older homes. So it's nice to know that you can have a plan, a community plan, right?
That's right. And trees and cost. Sometimes people don't even want it on their roof, or they don't have enough roof space. So
Yeah.
there's 80% of the market can't get rooftop panels. So
I don't think I realized that.
it's pretty large. So that's what these community solar garden legislations that are getting passed around the country, that's what they enable customers to be part of.
I love that. Well, and especially for people that are looking at the small homes movement as a big movement right now, where people are living in tiny homes is what it's called, right? And so, yeah, I would imagine you can't necessarily get a solar panel on one of those. So what a great concept. I love that.
That's right. Started here in Colorado.
Yeah, well, of course it did, because we're amazing.
Yes.
All right. Well, Taylor, if you don't mind, talking a little bit about your background and chair, is that a new title for you?
It is a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I've actually worked in the solar space as well, kind of alongside David in some fashion, doing project development, things like that. But one of the great fortunes of my career has been able to participated on the board of COSEIA as a volunteer, and now I get to sit in the chair seat. And the reason the title's new is because we've just hired our first president and CEO and transitioned from an executive director to a president and CEO. And it's really because we're seeing the 500 companies and 7,000 jobs in the state really starting, or just have continued to take off and continue to grow to the point where COSEIA, the State Solar Trade Association, is now representing storage and energy storage. And obviously that's a really relevant topic given, that solar works when the sun is out, but what do we do with that power, and how do we kind of, work to kind of increase our opportunity with solar. So we are really excited at what lies ahead for our trade association.
Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine. Well, and I know I mentioned it when we first got in the show, but this is a big election year, right? It could go either. We have two very different constituents when it comes to energy in Colorado. Yeah. So we got a lot on the plate here, and we'll get into that a little bit. But before we get there, so let's talk about how you three are all introduced with each other, SunShare and Upslope Brewing, and what kind of relationship that was, why they're all connected, if you don't mind for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of years ago, COSEIA recognized that we were doing a great job talking to our market, or the folks within our industry, and we have a lot of great conversations and say, that's a great idea, and we talk with each other and say, okay, great idea. We weren't talking to our customers. We weren't talking about the power of clean energy to really reduce the cost for business and the business community. And if you are a business owner, you are looking at your costs, your operating costs, and you're saying, I'm just writing these checks every month and not really looking at any alternatives here. And so we think that one of the alternatives you should consider, whether it's to community solar or if it's a system on your facility's roof or adjacent to it, is looking at clean energy. We think that we've seen the cost curve of solar really drop in a large way, and so now you're getting the option to kind of free up additional cash to operate and run your business by considering alternatives. And so that's really what the genesis of Clean Energy Means Business Buyer Summit is. And so that's the event that's this year presented by SunShare and AEP Energy Partners and eLight. And so David's organization is one of the presenting sponsors of that event this year. And we're really bringing the focus of projects that have been done, like what's been done at Upslope and with SunShare through Community Solar and their customers, and really kind of bring focus to that and saying, okay, this is an emerging market. This is really powerful for jobs and economic development. So we're really excited to present that, or power the event this year between COSEIA and the Compact of Colorado Communities. And a number of our industry companies are sponsoring that and bringing other groups like Upslope out to talk about the decisions they've made.
Awesome. Well, Matt, do you mind talking a little bit about the energy plan that Upslope has, and why you guys decided to get in on this now?
Yeah, absolutely. Since the beginning, we've always wanted to do the most responsible thing in terms of energy usage and water usage. What we said from the very beginning is the planet is not better off because we decided to open up a brewery in Boulder, Colorado. It's actually worse off. We consume resources. We use energy. We have employees driving their cars to our locations, and we produce waste and emissions. So, okay, what can we do to mitigate that as much as possible as we go along? Our very first delivery van was compressed natural gas, and that was a bit of a leap at the time, not knowing if that technology would work out for us, and it did. And then of course, at the very beginning, our brew house was designed to be very sustainable in saving water. When we cool down our wort, from our mash tun to our kettle, we cycle that through a heat exchanger, and it goes back into our hot liquor tank, saving all that water. Breweries tend to use between 4 and 10 to 1 water to beer. We're at 4.18, and we're still trying to save more water along that line. So as we expanded, we went with, our chillers made by Trane are very efficient. Our boiler that we use for our brew house here at Flatiron Park, and we also use it to clean our kegs, is 90% efficient, on-demand steam. And that costs more, but we knew it was the right thing to do in the long run. So as we're, updating this beautiful 1974 building, we're looking to make it more and more efficient. So as we got in, we continued to put a lot of infrastructure into the building that was very specific to our needs, the needs of a brewery. And we were getting more concerned as we were going through our lease, as time was ticking down, what was going to happen at the end of 8 years. So it was, in our 4th year of the building, we started looking at options in purchasing the building to see what that would take, and partnered up with Blake Jones from Namaste Solar on buying the building. And, upon closing on that a year ago last June, of course, we started having discussions with Blake about maybe getting a good deal on some solar panels. So we have a good site for that, in that our roof is a gigantic flat roof with just some mechanical units on top. And we started doing the analysis with Namaste Solar to put in what we're calling phase 1 of PV installation. And it's been installed, and we're just waiting for Excel at this point. I think we're about a week out for having that all hooked up to the meter and going. So it offsets all of the electrical usage for our 2,500 square foot cold room. And we are now looking at phase 2 and the best options for that. We have some difficult metering situations here. There have been a lot of subdividing of meters over the years for this building. So we're looking to simplify that and to move on to phase 2 and continue to chip away at this usage of electricity that we have coming from the grid.
Wonderful. So you had an older building. You mentioned it was built in the 70s, and you bought it. Eventually, you were leasing to start with. How did COSEIA help you through this process with ensuring that your business was covered for moving into better, cleaner energy? How did you aid that process, Taylor, with him?
So we work closely with Namaste and SunShare and companies that work in the industry, and obviously work to meet the needs of groups like Upslope. So I don't know, Matt hopefully feels the benefit of me buying his beer. But I don't think that he would see our hands on this quite from that standpoint. But our member companies do, and that's really we're working for advocacy to really make sure that the laws are in place so that there's a better permitting process when he wants to get the electrical panel upgraded, when he wants to make sure his electrical system on his building is in place, that's all in place, or permitting for say a greenfield project site. And really developing that land for that purpose. So that's really where we aim to get involved, and also obviously working for, again, the 7,000 people working in the industry here in the state.
Well, wonderful. So we've seen the finalized product of what you guys aid with connecting businesses with the right people. So talk a little bit about your experience on the side of being one of the companies that I could tap into as a business owner.
Sure. Well, I think one of the benefits that COSEIA and the programs that it puts on has for the industry is that they've been working to pass legislation that improves the industry, that opens up new business opportunities, such as the Colorado Community Solar Gardens Act, but then also follow-up legislation on bills like that, and in the regulatory process as well. One of the things that you see in the solar industry is that everything is moving very, very fast. I think one of the things I heard that was always interesting was solar was the fastest growing segment of the energy industry, and then community solar is the fastest growing segment of the solar industry. So it's kind of what we're in at SunShare is the tip of the fast moving pace, and in that sense, COSEIA has been extraordinarily helpful in making sure that the right rules and regulations and legislation is set up so that all of our companies can do what we do best. And I think looking to this election, there's going to be a lot of changes, both policy-wise, I think, but also economics-wise, with the price of renewable energy dropping so fast that now renewable energy is really cheaper in Colorado than fossil fuels, hands down. And with the addition of storage technology, you can completely get around fossil fuel power plants. So, I think supporting the industry organizations right now is very important as we kind of write the rules for how the next 15 to 20 years are going to play out, where Colorado probably gets to 100% renewable energy.
Really? Okay. Wonderful. I'm all about 100% renewable energy eventually, right? There's a process. We all know that. And we'll get there. But you both have mentioned legislation. I have to ask, you're in my studio, Colorado Business Roundtable. We're on the forefront of public policy. Proposition 112. Any thoughts on that? We'll start here with you, Taylor, on Proposition 112.
Yeah. Not legislation, so I'll stop there.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Fair. Actually, that is fair.
I think we can appreciate, I think we view the solar industry and the storage as part of the pie, and as we stand right now, and obviously, looking at, just watching the landscape. I know it's looking at the development of solar projects and looking at, being good partners in the communities that we work in, and obviously oftentimes kind of rural communities or close to major urban density. I can certainly appreciate kind of the needle that the organizations are trying to thread there and being kind of good stewards.
Absolutely. So. Any thoughts on 112, or don't feel obligated?
From a business perspective, it's actually kind of interesting. I was just having this conversation. Somebody's asking me if they, how they should vote on it, and I think I would vote for it, but I'm not 100% certain that it's going to move the needle. I'll use this as an example. My home is powered with community solar because I don't have a great roof for rooftop solar. And I just ordered an electric car, and our business is powered by community solar. So the car is going to be powered by solar energy. Mm-hmm. The house and the business are going to be powered by solar energy. And I'm going to be doing all this while not paying anything more than I would have been paying otherwise. And I have a feeling that the car that I ordered is going to beat out most of the cars on the street.
Especially because they can't hear you coming.
Well, that's right. They're not even going to know it's there. I mean, I think you look at the technological change where costs are coming down and technology is getting better. With these vehicles. And I think you can very quickly see yourself towards a future where you don't need oil anymore. I have to, when people say, the range anxiety, I can't get, you're never going to see electrification of everything because, I need fuel to power my car. And I ask them, I say, how many cars do you ever take at the same time on a 500-mile trip as a family? You never do. You have one car that goes long distance. So right there, 50% of the automobile market, you shift over to electrification, power it with renewable energy that's cheaper than fossil fuels. I don't think that transition is that far off, and I think economics and practicality are going to drive it. So I think 112 is good for safety and public health. But I think in the long run, I don't think that oil is going to be, except for plastics and things, I don't think it's going to be a significant part of our energy economy 20 years from now.
I like that.
Regardless of 112.
Yeah, regardless of 112, exactly. And that's, I have everyone coming in this week for energy. There's, it's a big pie. And as you mentioned, solar is a huge part of that pie, and it's just going to continue to grow. So Matt, real quick, tell me, we have about 4 minutes here. How painless or maybe how lengthy was this process to be able to move into clean energy? And obviously you seem to really like it enough that you're going to this forum to talk about it, right?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, we are already planning for a phase 2 installation. I think that companies like Namaste Solar, they make it easy for us. This is a world that we're not familiar with, and going with the regulations and any kind of benefit, kickbacks that come from the state or from the city, they manage that. When they said, "Hey, phase 1 belongs over this part of the building, and here are the reasons why," it's the best, return on investment. That first installation, it was the simplest. It gets more complicated from there. Okay, well, why is that? And so they can easily explain this to me and allow us to prioritize as we go along. So it's nice just to be able to trust in people who do this every day to show you the right way to go about it.
Wonderful. Thank you. In these last few minutes here, Taylor, you want to talk a little bit more about the summit, what we can expect, and where I can find tickets for that?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tickets are available, and we're really pleased to be able to provide a discount to all the listeners of the podcast and the Colorado Business Roundtable community. Tickets are available through our website, cleanenergymeansbusiness.com. And the discount code on the registration page that you would use is CBRT. And the event is taking place on November 13th, the afternoon of November 13th, and the full day on November 14th, presented by SunShare, AEP, Energy Partners, and Elite. And, you can expect to have a number of great keynotes, which we're getting ready to announce and in the coming week, and a number of organizations from the head of the Colorado Energy Office, the head of the Colorado Rural Electric Association. So really bring together folks from across the board. Xcel Energy is inviting a group that they have of all the communities throughout their service territory. And so you've got the city of Lafayette, Louisville, Wheat Ridge, the new National Western Center, and groups of that sort that will all be kind of convening and participating. And then we're leaving ample time for discussion along the way, coffee breaks and some great receptions with some good beer. And we'll have to talk to Matt about some Upslope there. But, towards the end of the day. Yep, good beer. So, and then actually we also have Lime Scooter, who's going to come in who is a sponsor, and they're basically giving a discount code for folks who are at the event and basically get around downtown that day with a free Lime Scooter. So.
Oh, that is a good time.
Yeah.
And again, that is cleanenergymeansbusiness.com, CBRT. If you are getting tickets, you can get a little bit of a discount there. So one more time, where can I find out more about SunShare?
Our website's www.mysunshare.com.
Wonderful. And Matt, where can I get a great beer?
You can get it right here in the tap room in Central Boulder, 1898 South Flatiron Court.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. It's been a pleasure having you on
Thank
for
you, Alex.
Energy Week, and I will see you at the summit November 13th and 14th.
Looking forward to having you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube page while you're here. Visit cobrt.com/radio-podcast for this show and more. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.